What's up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Happy Valentine's. Been a busy day for your boy. Oh my God. Finally home, busy day, work, all that stuff. Took my daughter out to Valentine's Day, all that good stuff. But yeah, how's everybody feeling, man? A busy day, a lot of fun stuff on the internet with the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Niners, there was some news with the Niners yesterday, today. I don't know how you guys feeling. How the heck are we doing? You thought we weren't gonna get a live today, Nia? No, we gotta do what we gotta do. Just busy day today. Work was crazy today. I didn't think I was ever gonna leave that damn place. But yeah, how the heck are we feeling today? It's the off season, and the 49ers are right now. We're here, and we still don't know what the heck we're gonna do with their quarterback. But there's a lot of other stuff. We got to talk about the off season priorities. I might do a call-in show. Maybe I'll have people hop in. We'll see how I feel. This morning, D'Amico Ryans hires Corey Unlin, 49ers former passing game coordinator, and they hired him for the Texans job as the passing game coordinator. And you know what? Unlin he wasn't under contract anymore. This was pretty much to be expected. But I mean, it's crazy because D'Amico, he's just literally taking all the staff he needs from the 49ers. And again, it's expected. As a new coach, you're going to take people that you're familiar with, people that you're comfortable with, to run your defense or your team or your offense or whatever it is. Man, he's taking everybody. The comments this morning on that post were hilarious, though. Someone said, I think I pinned it. Someone says, man, at this point, they're going to take Kyle's dog. Someone that. I lost it when they said that. He goes, at this point, D'Amico's going to take Kyle's dog. I was like, not the dog, bro. That's hilarious. This guy's taking everybody. And then, D'Amico, he's fleecing the staff. He's going to take some players. And that's why I'm talking about the offseason tonight, because there's going to be some players we want the Niners to re-sign. But we got a lot of competition with our former coaches, D'Amico, Salah, and McDaniel. They're going to take players, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting. Steven says the Eagles fans and players are celebrated for Gannon. He went to Arizona. The Eagles defensive coordinator, Gannon, he got signed today as the Arizona Cardinals head coach. So, boom, right off the bat, Eagles lose a coach. So it's not that the Niners are the only ones losing coaches. That was a big move. That was a big addition to the NFC West. So let's see. Let's bring this up. There's a lot of news today, actually. So, yeah, the Cardinals finalized the deal with the former Eagles defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, to become their new coach. So the 49ers are going to have Jonathan Gannon on their schedule twice a year now in the NFC West. Debo and Aiyuk, they said the way to expose this Eagles defense this year was to go at the back end, throw at them. Now, we'll see what the Eagles do, or the Eagles defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, does in Arizona, right? What is he going to do in Arizona? What is he going to do? Is he going to beef up that D-line? We'll see how it goes. So you expect him to maybe take some players from Philly. There's a lot of free agents from the Eagles. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, among them. He's one of their best players. He is a very, very good safety defensive back. And maybe Gannon takes him. We'll see. There's going to be some interesting turnover for not just the 49ers, but the Eagles as well. They got a lot of free agents, and their offensive coordinator, he got hired as well. So it's crazy. The Eagles lost both of their coordinators, their defensive coordinator and their offensive coordinator. They both became head coaches this week. That is huge. So I know the Niners have lost coaches and some assistants, but so have the Eagles. So we can't sit here and say that the Niners, are the only team getting teams poached. So it's kind of interesting when these teams are playing well and, they're doing good. People want a piece of that, and they want to recreate that. It's a copycat league, right? It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a copycat league, and people want to copy what is successful. So that is exactly what happened. Teams are poaching coaches, and it's nothing new. But, yeah, the Eagles are going to look a little different next year. The 49ers are going to look a little different. A lot of teams are going to look a lot different next year. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yesterday, we mentioned it on the show with Larry. The news broke while we were talking. I didn't really get to it yesterday in the day. I was going to do a live last night, but just had a lot of stuff coming up. But Marcelino McCrary Ball, He signed a 1-year deal to re-sign with the 49ers. That's huge to me. That's significant news that McCrary Ball is back. I know he's just an undrafted guy to some. He's a nobody to some people. Some fans, they were like, "Who's that? Who's McCrary Ball?" To me, to me, to me, McCrary Ball is the future of this team. He's going to replace Azeez Al-Shaair if he can play up to his potential. This guy is a stud, man. I saw him in training camp. I saw him in preseason, and this guy was looking, sheesh, he was looking good, my boy. I'm telling you, McCrary Ball has such good instincts, such good skills. He's short, he's small, stocky, but, just like Larry Krueger said yesterday, he says Bowman was a guy that wasn't so big. Chris Borland was a guy that wasn't so big. But linebackers, man, if you got the speed, if you got the instincts, you got the tenacity, man, you're going to be a good player. And Ball, man, he's got that mentality. He wants to succeed. He's a guy that I could see becoming a future star with the 49ers because they know how to mold linebackers. Look at the history of linebackers that this team has had, right? Willis, Bowman, you got Warner, Greenlaw, you got Azeez. There's so many. I left out a lot, but you know the idea. These guys mold linebackers like nobody's business. So I think McCrary Ball will be able to step in and be the future. And again, it's going to be a cheaper option instead of having Azeez Al-Shaair. We all want Azeez Al-Shaair back, but the guy has priced himself out, and he deserves a big contract. He deserves to get paid. Azeez Al-Shaair deserves to go out and be a star of a team, and I think Houston is a great spot because he has D'Amico. D'Amico knows what he can get out of Azeez. He kind of molded him. You go get Azeez to Houston and let him be your Fred Warner. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying McCrary Ball right now is better than Azeez, but he has a very bright future ahead of him. I think the Niners could develop him. And the thing is, he's an undrafted guy. Azeez was an undrafted guy. 49ers and undrafted players go together like a horse and carriage. This is I'm telling you, man, these guys know how to play. When they're undrafted, the 49ers, their development department is second to none. So, yeah. Maurice says, McCrary Ball looked nice in the preseason, same as Womack. They really did. Well, McCrary Ball, I remember that interception in Green Bay. He looked really good. I liked what I saw out of him. So, Goaded says D-Hop is gonna want out. The Cardinals are gonna want the Rams. Are gonna be what the Rams were last season. I don't know if they're gonna be just like that. I think they are going to be good next year because Kyler's gonna miss a significant chunk of the season. We don't know when he's gonna be healthy. A new coach, you're gonna have to see them, rebuild a little bit. They had a lot of losses in the offseason. Last year they lost some big key pass rushers. J.J. Watt now is retired, so they're going to have to beef up that defense. They're going to have to do a lot of changes. So, yeah, I don't think the Cardinals are going to be a competitive team, in the NFC West right away. It's going to take some transition for their new coach to get things rolling. But we'll see. New coach sometimes springs new life into a team. But without Kyler Murray, I don't know if this team's going to win a lot of games off the bat. But there is a lot of rumors that DeAndre Hopkins wants out of that team. He doesn't want to be in a rebuilding mode. He's played a lot of years. He's kind of in the mode of, I need to go to a winning team and try to catch a championship. So I could see DeAndre Hopkins moving somewhere and going to a team. I know him and Bill Belichick have a good relationship, but there's a lot of teams that would love to take D-Hop and pay him a lot of money. So we might see D-Hop leave, right? And they're not committed. They got a new coaching staff. We don't know if they're committed to D-Hop. So I could see the Eagles the Eagles defense coordinator, who's now the head coach of the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon. I could see him shipping D-Hop for some picks to help this team because it is a rebuilding team. So I could see it. D-Hop might be out. Cardinals are going to look a lot different. It's going to be great. NFC West runs through the Niners. Seahawks will be okay. They got a good young team. They had a great draft class. You got Pete Carroll, and I think they'll continue to be a team that's going to compete with the 49ers in the NFC West. But other than that, it's the Niners and the Seahawks. I don't know how the Cardinals are going to look. They're probably going to look bad. Rams, a lot of question marks on that team. So when can the players restructure their contracts? So next month, I think we posted this yesterday. So let me get some dates. Let me pull up some the new league year basically starts in a month. So let's take a look at this. So we got next month, 15 days until the combine. This was yesterday. So 14 days for the combine, 29 days until free agency. and then 73 days until the NFL draft. So we're basically about a month away until that free agency, new league year, all that kind of stuff kind of gets to be gathered around. So just about a month away. You get a few weeks. That's really all they got, and then players are going to be training, and then the draft comes. All of a sudden, boom, it's going to be rookie minicamp, and then boom, we're here at OTA. So it goes by pretty fast. It goes by pretty fast. 49ers throwback. What's up, my boy? How you doing? Always has a time. He always makes time to hop in people's shows. I love the guy. Appreciate you. This is a good question because this is something we got to talk about. We're talking about the offseason tonight. And Maurice Soriano says, do you think we were rolling with McKivitz at right tackle? There's a lot of people saying that. I think Matt Mayoko wrote about this today. He's saying that, Mike McGlinchey probably priced himself out, and the 49ers probably have the replacement in-house. I feel like McKivitz is a guy that they've kind of kept on this team. He was a fifth-round pick a few years ago. They traded Matt Breida. They got a fifth-round pick out of it, and this was the guy they drafted, Colt McKivitz. Hasn't really had a lot of chances. He's, played here and there, some spot starts, He stayed on the team. He was kind of a player they wanted maybe at one position, didn't really go too well. They kept him on the roster, and it was just like, we don't know. But he was a depth piece this year. But I think they expect McKivitz to take a leap and maybe play that right tackle spot. He's going to be cheaper. Again, McGlinchey would have a huge contract, right? Compared to McKivitz, who's still playing on a nothing contract, basically. So, yeah, I think they're going to try to see if McKivitz can be the guy to take that spot at right tackle. So I wouldn't be surprised. Again, he's got a lot to prove. We need a solid guy. This guy never started really for the 49ers. He's played again some few spot starts here through injury. It's going to be a big, big task if McKivitz comes in. So I would love to get like an Orlando Brown. But if the 49ers aren't going to be able to afford Mike McGlinchey, I don't think they can afford McKivitz. So it's going to be interesting what they do at right tackle. I think, Mike wants to stay. I know the team loves him. He's a clubhouse guy, is the CEO of the locker room, as some people have told me. But I just think that Mayoko's right, that they're going to not be able to afford him. And I could see him taking a big contract because there's not a huge market at right tackle, right? You have a few premium right tackles, Orlando Brown, Juwan Taylor, Mike McGlinchey. Those are your top three guys. They're going to command pretty decent money. So I think McKivitz might get the first crack at moving over to right tackle and see what he has. So you got Jalen Moore. I haven't really been impressed with what I've seen out of him. I know they can move Spencer Burford to tackle, but he played so good at guard. It's like, do you want to take the risk of moving him from a position where he was really good? I know he played tackle in college, but he really, really was good at guard. So it is going to be an interesting situation to see what they do at right tackle. But if I had to guess, I think that they're going to let Mike walk, and he's going to get paid a pretty decent contract somewhere. And the 49ers are going to try to stay in-house because they like to develop players. That's what they do. So I appreciate you, Jason. I really, really do appreciate you. He says, hey, Raj, keep doing what you're doing. Best Niners page on all platforms. I really appreciate that. I respect that. Thank you so much for that kind comment. Trey's Farmer says, McGlinchey's gone for real. For real, though. He also says, do you want Trey or Brock? I can't make up my mind. I want them both. I know it's crazy. I know we are sitting here, and this offseason is going to be World War III. You're going to have to pick your side. I know it's going to be crazy because you got the Brock fans, you got the Trey fans, and that's how it is every season. It was the Jimmy fans and the Trey fans. I don't want to pick sides. I like them both. But if I have to be honest with you and tell you, what do I think? I agree with George Kittle when he said that Brock Purdy right now is ahead of him, and it's his team to lose. It's his job to lose. That is the best assessment that anybody said, because right now, based on what Brock did, he took this team to the NFC Championship as a rookie, and what he did was a magical run. It was special, and he only can get better. If Brock is healthy, you got to give him the starting job. But I want to see Trey shine. I want him to get an opportunity. I want him to compete and at least get a fair shake at it. I like Trey, man. The kid is young. He's got a great head on his shoulders. I like them both. I hope we can keep them both and they both thrive. That's really what I want. It's tough. It is tough. It is definitely tough. So, oh, man. Maurice says, I'm bummed because I feel like we were going to be letting Gould walk as well. we will be using one of those late round picks up on a kicker. Oh man, I really hope not. I honestly think so. I want to talk about the top priorities. I think Robbie Gould is a top priority. I know he's an older guy. I know he's, getting up there in age. I still feel like he has 2 really good years. He's been part of that core team. Like people say, I feel like we forget about Robbie. He's been a captain of this team. We talk about Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Trent Williams, George Kittle, and Debo Samuel, Brandon Aiyuk, and Christian McCaffrey, and all these guys. That's the core. But we forget Robbie Gould has been part of this team for the same amount of time as those guys since that 2019 Super Bowl run. Like he's part of that core, and he hasn't missed a field goal in the playoffs. Like this guy is clutch money in the playoffs. Like I want Robbie to stay. I think that he's actually going to stay. I think the 49ers are going to prioritize him. They might pay him a little bit more than they should, and people are going to be like, it's a lot of money for a kicker. You're going to see a lot of people. That's a lot of money for a kicker. But we need to keep that guy 2 more years, at least give him the chance to go chase some records and finish his career in the Bay, man. I think we will keep him. I think it's going to be close. In the next couple of weeks, we'll probably find out what's going to happen with Robbie. He did say in his exit interview that the 49ers will probably let him know around combine time, and that's in the next 2 weeks, 14 days, basically. So I think we're going to figure out what's going to happen with Robbie soon, because if they don't want him, they're going to tell him so he can go figure out where he needs to go. I don't want a young kicker, because as old as he is, I know he's getting older, but we don't want to have an unknown, mysterious kicker on this team. Look what happened with Brett Maher. Like, you want a Maher situation? No. I don't want to be sitting there pulling my hair when it's a clutch kick situation. With Robbie, I know he's going to nail it. I know he's going to nail the kick. I don't want to have kicking issues. That's the last thing I need. We already have quarterback issues. We already have right tackle issues. We already have, other issues on this team. I do not want a kicker issue. That would be a huge loss. Nia says we need to get Robbie a ring. We need to get Robbie a ring. We need to get Robbie a ring. We need to get that man a ring. He's a priority. I know a lot of people aren't going to tell you this on their channels, though, because people forget about Robbie. People are going to tell you Emmanuel Mosley, definitely a priority. People are going to tell you, who else are they going to tell you? Probably going to tell you extend Nick Bosa. Of course, that's a priority, right? They're going to tell you go get a right tackle. Of course. But most people forget about Robbie Gould. That is a great, great comment. We need to get that boy back. I don't want any kicker problems. We don't want it. I don't want him to spend a late round pick on a kicker. Although I know they can find good kickers. I know they can. But I don't want them to be wasting their time on a kicker. Not this year. Not this year. Danny says maybe re-sign Robbie for 1 year. Maybe he can take a pay cut. I don't know. I don't know if he wants to take a pay cut, because he pressed us for a bag a couple years ago. Remember when they were gonna give him that the franchise tag? They almost franchise tagged the kicker, and he pressed them. He pressed the Niners into a corner. I said, "You could trade me. You can." The kicker pressed him. That's how savage Robbie Gould is. The kicker pressed the front office, and he got his extension because he said, "No, I'm fucking Robbie Gould. I'm Robbie Gould. Pay me," and they paid him. And we had a lot of people upset about that. I can't believe they paid a kicker. I can't believe they paid. And look at Robbie, though. He don't miss. He don't miss in the playoffs. And his savagery, like, this is the only kicker I've seen that would step up to Jalen Ramsey. Robbie Gould, for real, is a menace. This man, you got cheerleaders practicing. You got people practicing their dances for halftime. He would have been practicing his kickoffs if Rihanna herself was practicing at the Super Bowl. I guarantee you, if Robbie Gould was in the Super Bowl, Rihanna's doing her thing, and she can be like, "Yo, can you move so I can practice?" Robbie would have just kept kicking his field goals. Don't give a shit about you. Don't care about nobody. You don't care about nobody. It's crazy. I get it. He's getting old, and it's hard to imagine paying a kicker a lot of money. But Robbie Gould, man, he's a captain. He's a menace, and we need that. We need that guy. He's a kicker that has the dog in him. A menace. I love Robbie. Like, come on. When he stepped up to Jalen Ramsey, I lost it. I was like, Robbie Gould is stepping up to Jalen. Bro, Jalen Ramsey has beef with our kicker. We need to keep Robbie Gould. We need to keep Robbie Gould. What's up, Ruthless? How we doing? A. Goaded says, I think we should bring in Bakes. Jesse Bates is one of my favorite free agents this offseason. He's one of the top guys I think the Niners could be able to get. But I think the Bengals are going to franchise tag him. I think they're going to keep him around. I don't know. He might be expensive. He may not want the franchise tag. He might say, hey, screw it, and they might do a tag and trade, or he might just leave off. But I don't know. Bates is a guy that I hope the Niners can get. I love the guy. He's a great safety, talented, 25 years old. That's the guy we need on this team. We need a quality safety because Tashawn Gibson, he might retire. He's only, and if he comes back, he'll only be back for a year. So Jimmy Ward, that's another guy who's probably going to be gone. That, to me, Jimmy Ward's a priority guy, but I don't think that they could bring him back. So I don't even want to waste my time on trying to get a guy that I know we can't afford because they're going to have to break the bank to bring back Jimmy Ward, who I love, and I absolutely adore Jimmy. The guy's a dog, man. We know how great he is as a leader and a captain, but he wants to get that last bag of his career. This is the last time for him to cash in. He's played 9 years. He's a quality veteran. He's been through adversity. He told his story on the IG Live a couple weeks ago. We know how much everybody loves Jimmy. We know how much he loves this team, but hey, he's right. This is his last time he can cash in. I love him, but he'll probably go to Houston for a bag. And I would do it too for a check. So I don't even hate on Jimmy. He's played he's busted his ass off for this opportunity to go cash in, man. Go do it. All the years he got injured and had to play out of position. This is why he did it, so he can finally cash in. And I don't blame Jimmy. I love the guy, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get him back. So safety is an area where the 49ers need to go and upgrade, whether it be through the free agency department or the draft. I think they can hit on a free agent because there are some quality free agents, but they can also draft because they know how to draft some fucking safeties, man. But the problem is, will Kyle trust the safety be thrown into the fire already? I don't know. Sometimes he does. Sometimes if it's out of necessity, he will play a rookie. And especially if they're really like Nick Bosa, we knew he was going to be a quality starter, But then you get those guys like Elijah Mitchell who came out of nowhere and he had to start because of injury. So it depends on the situation. I do want him to get a safety, but again, safety's an issue right now. We don't know if Gibson's going to be back. Jimmy Ward's probably gone. You got George Odom and Talanoa Hufanga. Right now, season started today. Those are your safeties. No disrespect to George Odom. He's not a starter. He's a special teamer, a great special teamer at that. Hufanga, hell of a player, all pro, second year. He needs someone out there to run with him. So we'll see. Ronnie Hickman from Ohio State. Yeah, this year, honestly, man, there's so much talent at the safety department, at the edge. This year's defensive prospects are good. Edge rushers are plenty. Like, if we want an edge rusher, this is a good class. I think this is a good year to get an edge rusher, which I think they're going to. But again, it comes down to the question is, if we draft a guy, are they going to become an immediate starter? With Kyle, I don't see that. Like, you don't really see his guys become immediate starters. It takes them a few years. It takes them a year or two to develop and hit that stride, unless you're like a Nick Bosa. Obviously, we knew he was going to come in and start. So I can't sit here and bank on every player, every position to be a rookie. If this is a Super Bowl team, win now team, you need quality players. Of course, you're going to have some key, youngsters around here and there, but you're not going to go out there and win a Super Bowl if like 9 of your players are rookies. No disrespect to rookies. They're good. I mean, shout out to the Chiefs. They had a whole secondary worth of rookies, so they did it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to plug these holes in with quality proven players, get some rookies, and develop them. So it's going to be interesting. But, we'll see. Again, right tackle, right side of the line. What are they going to do? My boy Spencer's at right guard. People have thought about moving him to right tackle. You got McKivitz there, who I think is going to be the guy that they're going to give the first opportunity to. You got the safety position we talked about. And then there's another guy I really like. And I think they need to bring back Emmanuel Mosley this offseason. I think they need to find a way to keep him. I don't think he'll, cost too much, unfortunately for him, because he did have the torn ACL. And, that brought down his value. So I feel like the 49ers could probably give him a 1-year prove-it type deal, maybe $7 million, something like that. Because Mosley was on track to become a a Pro Bowler. He was on track to have his best season. He was looking insane with Ward on the other side, but now he had a massive injury, and he's had a few injuries through the years, and it's unfortunate. So I think the Niners need to say, hey, look, come back, give us a year, prove that you're that guy that we saw you last year, and we'll pay you a massive bag. And I think that's what they'll tell him. But the X factor, the wild card, like we said earlier, will one of the teams with our coaches strike? Will Robert Salah, will Mike McDaniel, or D'Amico Ryan strike and pay him more? Will they pay him more? That is a huge question. I love Emmanuel Mosley, but I'm sure that Robert Salah and D'Amico Ryans love him just as much as we do. They might pay him a little bit more than the 49ers. And if I'm Emmanuel Mosley, hey, I got to go prove myself no matter what. Maybe I go chase that bag on one of those other teams. But the X factor for the 49ers, we're a proven winner. And we can say, hey, Emmanuel Mosley, come stay with the Niners. We got a chance to win a Super Bowl. Robert Salah can't promise him that. D'Amico Ryan surely can't promise him that. They can promise him more money. They can't promise him a championship a chance, a better chance for a championship, because obviously championship's not guaranteed. But the 49ers can say, hey, you have an opportunity with this team to compete for a championship. So that is going to be the big dilemma. Emmanuel Mosley, though, we need to bring him back. That is a guy. That is a guy we need to come back. And then you come back to the edge rushers, right? We have a plethora of players on the D-line that are free agents, right? You got the edge rushers, Charles Omenihu, Samson Ebukam. You got Jordan Willis. And then interior, you got Hassan Ridgeway. I think he's a free agent. So there's several guys. I think T.Y. McGill is also a free agent. Maurice Hurst. There was a lot of players that they had and they signed and they brought in. Several of them got injured, right? Hassan Ridgeway got injured. I think Maurice Hurst got injured at one point in the game. All of them. So it felt like at the end of the season, they had to throw in guys like McGill. And no disrespect to him, he just hadn't had enough opportunities playing that many snaps. And then you had a guy like Javon Kinlaw, who really hasn't played snaps himself, So those guys were playing a lot more snaps than they normally would. They got worn down. And then another guy, Kevin Givens, who was injured for part of the season, he got thrown in there with a lot of snaps. They need to figure out that interior line, get a guy. I know the big name on the market, Jerome Payne. I don't know if the 49ers could go inside him. I would love it. That's a dream guy. But they need to get somebody on the interior line. Bring back one of those guys that you had, maybe Ridgeway. I like Hassan Ridgeway. If he can stay healthy, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. And then on the edge, right, we named those guys, Omenihu, Ebukam, Willis, and Kerry Hyder. He could play in and out. Bring back one of those guys. If I had to pick one of them, I'd probably bring back Charles Omenihu. He was the best out of all of them. Ebukam, he was okay, but I feel like Omenihu was better. Jordan Willis, he's a guy you could probably bring back cheap as depth guy. So you could probably bring him back too. But I'm not bringing all of those guys back because they're all pretty much similar. And they're not going to give you a ton of sacks. I need to go get a sack specialist. That's what I've been saying. A premium edge rusher. Somebody that's going to give me 10 sacks. Like Omenihu, he got better. He'll give me 5 to 7 sacks maybe. But I need a guy that's going to go get double digits on the other side, off the other side of Nick Bosa. Because the D-line struggled towards the end of the season. At the end of the day, Nick Bosa needs some help. Go get this man some help. Bring back Omenihu. Bring back some guys on that interior line. And go get me a pass rusher that can give me 10 sacks. That's what I need you to do. That, to me, is my ultimate plan. So, let's see what you guys think about that. Let's see. Was Omenihu having legal troubles? Yeah, T-Money. So he was. So this is where the wild card is on Omenihu, is once they figure out what the legal issues were. So if he clears all that stuff, then yes, bring him back. Because I think that's what the Niners would, of course, what they would do is look into the legal stuff. And if they know that he's going to have some issues, you can't bring him back. But if I had a choice between all those guys and Omenihu clears, that's who I'm bringing back. Again, he does have to go through that legal system, and they have to make sure he clears. But that's the guy I bring back. And in no disrespect to the other guys, they were solid depth. But I think Omenihu is a little bit more than solid depth. He's kind of really he's kind of developed into a better than just solid guy. Like he's a key player. He was nice on that D-line. Last year they traded for him, and then this year he really stepped up and became a big part of that D-line. He really was nice with us. I think he's young too. He's only 25, so he's still got a lot of good years left under him. I think you go with him. I think he's the best bet out of everybody that they have as free agents. And then you go get me a guy that can go get me 10, like a specialist. Let me go get someone that could fly off the edge. What they wanted out of D Ford. That's what I wish they would have had D Ford healthy, but they need a guy like that. They could come off and just smoke the quarterback that the O line has to, account for. Whoever we're playing for is like, oh crap, that guy's coming. And then, oh crap, Nick Bosa's coming. I forgot about him because I'm having to block this guy. That's what they need. You need a guy that's going to be like, oh crap. And then they're going to turn around. Oh shit, Nick Bosa. You need two guys flying. That's what I want. Am I greedy? Probably. Whew. Brandon Graham. That's it. That's the type of guy we need. A Brandon Graham. Go give me 10 sacks. Go give me a guy like that. The Eagles did it. That's it. Go give me a guy like that. I would love it. Tommy says, who's going to beat Mahomes? Only the Bungles so far. Joe Burrow knows how to beat him. We need to call Joe Burrow and ask him how to beat him. Maybe that's what we need to do. Because you're right. I think we have to set our team up in a way to beat the Chiefs. Because if the Chiefs are the guys that we're going to beat, if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl again, whatever, the 49ers, if they make it to the Super Bowl, you got to put together a team that's going to beat the Chiefs. That's easier said than done. Stop Mahomes. It's not easy. Stop Mahomes. That's not easy. T Money says Givens was legit. I liked Givens. I liked him. He was good depth. I feel like it was unfortunate though because he did have the injury where he missed a significant amount of time. So when he came back in the playoffs, Givens wasn't 100%. He was trying to just get back into form. But I do like Givens. He's definitely a good depth guy. But I feel like that's what happened to this defense. They had guys that were coming off injury. Yes, the team was healthy. They had their guys, but they weren't in form. And I feel like that's one of those guys that was like that was Givens. He was a great player, but he just wasn't at his peak in the playoffs. And then you had to rely on guys like Kinlaw, who I know, he was getting pushed around. And again, he doesn't have a lot of game experience in the NFL through his injuries, and he was getting pushed around by that Eagles O-line. So they got to beef up that interior. That's what they got to do. He gives pressure, unlike him. Yeah, 100%. He does. He does get in there. Somebody asked about Brandon Aiyuk. They'll take care of Brandon Aiyuk when they need to. Let's see. Is there any risk? So Trey says, is there any risk of losing BA? I've seen a lot of edits of him in another jersey. That's what it is. It's the offseason. Brandon Aiyuk looks good in other jerseys, so teams are going to jersey swap him. They would love it. I'm sure the Giants would love Brandon Aiyuk. I'm sure every fan of another team would love him. So they're going to make edits and jersey swaps. That's what this type of season is. And that's what the people that make those graphic designers, this is where they thrive. Because people like me, for example, let's say I see an edit of, I don't know, Brian Burns on the 49ers. Oh, my God, that's pretty. I should post it on my page and get a lot of engagement. Should the 49ers sign Brian Burns? Boom. And it blows up, right? That's why those guys do it. And then we credit those graphic designers, and then they get a lot of followers from it. And then an NFL team sees the graphic designer like, oh, you're really good. Do you want to work for our team? That's kind of how it works over the years. But that's just social media stuff. But the player himself, of course, he's going to like cool pictures of himself. I don't think there's any risk of losing BA. May 1st, the 5th-year option is due. I would be so surprised. I'll bet my life savings that they'll give the 5th-year option to Brandon Aiyuk. I would be shocked if they didn't. I think they'll pick up the 5th-year option on Brandon Aiyuk, and everything will be good, because they did that with Bosa. They picked up his 5th-year option, and now this year they're extending him. I think they'll do that with Aiyuk. He'll get his money. He's still on a rookie contract. First-round rookie contracts are better than, most, so he'll get his money. And when the time is due, they'll pay him. Don't worry. I wouldn't worry about it. BA deserves his money when the time has come. So Tommy says, I hope they don't move Burford to right tackle. He's a guard. He did play tackle in college, but maybe not as much as guard. He is versatile. I know last year I did talk to him before the season, and he says he would like to play tackle. But again, we'll see. That was before the season. I haven't followed up with him. I got to message him soon and try to get a chat with him. But he played guard last year, and he did a very good job at guard last year. So maybe maybe he's kind of settled in and says, hey, look, I found my position in the NFL. Because in the NFL, you start changing positions, it's hard mentally, to just move to another position where you've had success somewhere else, and then it's a different mentality. So I don't know. I think he could succeed at right tackle. I honestly think it wouldn't be a bad idea. But again, it wouldn't be easy to just go and change. But he's done it before. He's played different positions, but that was in college and not the NFL. College is a lot different from the pros. So we'll see. Um, Jason, who did you say? Jalen Tuima'alo out of Ohio State. Yeah, I've seen that guy play. He's a monster. He's a force. He definitely would be a force on the other side of Bosa, and he'd be cheaper because you'd get him on a rookie deal. Again, I think they got to stack this line. I want them to get a free agent, but definitely in the draft, go and get me some edge rushers. They need to stack that line because again, you can replace Ebucam and Jordan Willis. No disrespect to them, with cheaper, younger players on the line that can fly. Man, go get me some flyers out there. That's all I need, because you're not going to be able to sign everybody. Jennings isn't going anywhere. T Money, yeah, Tommy's right. He's an exclusive rights free agent. This is Juwan Jennings. As long as they offer him a contract, they got him. If they don't offer him a contract, he'll go somewhere, to whoever offers him. But the 49ers have the exclusive rights contract on him. So as long as they sit there and say, hey, look, Juwan Jennings, this is your contract. We're bringing you back. We're good. We're not losing Juwan Jennings this year. Next year, though, if he balls out this year, goes crazy, he'll be an unrestricted free agent, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But we got him. We got him still. He'll probably be back for 1 or 2 more years. So at least. So third and Juwan. We need that boy. He's dope. I like that guy. He's underrated. He's a dog, man. He blocks good. He does all the right things. He's just a great, scrappy, gritty role player. You need those guys. He's like he's just those. He's a role player, but you need those types of guys. He's a glue guy. And I love him. But yeah, 100% T Money. He's not going to go anywhere. I would be shocked if we don't have Juwan Jennings on the roster next year. So, exclusive rights is just a fancy word of basically the team still has you kind of under their hand. It's not like an unrestricted free agent means you can go test the markets. You can look at whatever contracts you want, and the team can't just match that or bring you back just because they want you. They have to really offer you a contract and that you want. But if you want out of the team and you're an unrestricted, there's no basically holding on you that says you have to stay with that team. If you're an exclusive rights, that means that team has the exclusive rights. They basically own your contract unless they don't want you. And they can say, okay, you can go sign somewhere. But if the team that has the exclusive rights on you says, we want you back, here's what our offer is, that's how they get you. So we got them. So, yeah, Tommy basically paraphrased it well. It means he can't negotiate with anyone except the Niners, 100%. So the Niners have the exclusive rights to negotiate with these players, unless they don't want them. If they don't want the rights to this player, they can basically vanquish it up, and then somebody else can negotiate. But as long as that team that has the exclusive rights on the player negotiates contracts, says this is what we want, we're offering you this, and he has to stay with them. So pretty interesting how it works. So Mario says, will Alfredo Gutierrez get playing time this year? We'll see. He was in the International Development Program. It's a specialty program. He's been relegated to basically practice squad. We'll see. It really depends on how much he's developed, because he was just a raw player. They brought him along, and he did get a futures contract. He will be most likely back this training camp to go out there and compete and OTAs and stuff. Will he make the roster? I don't know. I think he'll at least make the practice squad again, but he has to show these coaches that he's developed. He's really stepped up. He's the guy. It was cool last year that they gave him a snap out there. He got the game ball in one preseason game. It was a great story, but we don't know if he can play ball. We got to see him play ball. He's got to go out there and grind it out, and they got to give him a little bit more chances to prove himself. So I would like to see him. I don't know. Again, O-line is something that we need. Maybe he could be a guy. I don't know. We don't know. But there are a lot of O-linemen, a lot of young guys. They got Nick Zakel. They got Jason Poe. They got some guys that could compete. You got Jalen Moore. You got Colton McKivitz. Maybe they bring back Dan Brunskill. That's the guy I want. I want Dan Brunskill back. He could play guard. He could play tackle. He could play center. Not good, but he could play. He could play pretty much every position on the line. He's a Swiss Army knife. Go get Dan Brunskill because he could be a backup. He could be a starter. I like him. He could play right tackle. He could do it. He could do it all. He's a great little addition to this team. He might be a little bit expensive because he could do everything. On another team, he could be a starter. Dan Brunskill could go be a starter on another team, on any other team. Bring him back, though. I want Dan Brunskill. And another guy I really want them to bring back, I know it's crazy, I like Jake Brendel. And if you would have asked me this last year before the season, I would have laughed at you. Says, I don't want Jake Brendel. I want Jake Brendel back. He was solid as a center. Very good. First year as a starting center in the NFL after many years in the league, a journeyman. He played good, man. He was really good. Was he perfect? No. He still needs to get better in his footwork. He still needs to get better in run blocking. But he was a really good pass protecting center. I liked him. He played well. We lost Alex Mack, and it was like, oh, my God, Alex Mack, the end of the world. What are we going to do? And Jake Brendel came in, and he played pretty solid. I liked him. Bring back Jake Brendel. That, to me, is a guy I would love to bring back. Yeah, Mario. Gutierrez he's huge. He definitely looks like a giant. Tommy says, I'm not a fan of Moore. I'm not a fan of Moore either. I just don't think he has it. Every time I've seen him in, he looked bad. But again, he's young. Maybe he develops. This is a make or break year for a lot of those young guys. But I agree with you. I don't like Moore either. Tommy says, I think Brendel's going to price himself out, unfortunately. It's definitely possible. He had a really good year. I mean, he had a year that none of us expected. I didn't think he was going to play that well. So if he does price himself out, I wouldn't be surprised. And again, they do have two younger guys that could step in and compete, and that's Nick Zakel and Jason Poe. I really like what I've seen out of them. But again, this is a team that wants to compete for a Super Bowl. You can't just be out there and hoping these guys in these premium positions pan out. That's the one thing I'm saying is I hope they do spend the money they need to for the premium positions. Like Jake Brendel, he was a quality starter. Bring him back. You can develop those other guys. Because if we have to have this team go out there with young guys that are unpolished, I don't know. I don't know if we can trust that kind of team to get all the way to the end. Because you got to have some quality starters, some guys that have been there. You could develop your young guys. I don't mind it. But again, you don't want to throw anybody out there just to throw them out there to save money. I think you got to spend a little bit of that money, restructure some contracts. I love Arik Armstead and what he does in the middle, and he's a big run stuffer. But I think that one of the other offseason priorities is you got to restructure Arik Armstead. And I love the guy. Go and restructure Arik Armstead because you're going to have to bring some guys back, and you're going to have to go sign some new guys. So Armstead might need to take one for the team. What's up, SG? He says he likes the beard. Thank you. We try to keep the beard looking pretty sharp throughout the week. So thank you for that. My man, SG Sports Channel, always chiming in. Good to see you today. Tommy says, wasn't he a Pro Bowl alternate? Yes, he was. Jake Brendel, he was. He played good this season, man. I was shocked at how good Jake was. Jake the Snake Brendel. What's up, Mariah? What's up? How we doing in the chat, Mariah in the chat? I'm going to be live with her tomorrow on her channel, 4:45 p.m. Pacific, 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. She's so nice. I told her I could probably be there at 4:30. She said, I'll move it up to 4:45 so you don't have to rush home from work. I know I'll be rushing sometimes, especially if I have a show to do. So we'll be live tomorrow. Good stuff. Let's see. I'll take a couple more questions. Maybe I can let me see what we got. Tay Martin. Yeah, they got a lot of youngsters on that practice squad and the futures that they re-signed this offseason. There's going to be a lot of young guys that get an opportunity. So they got to make the most of it. Training camp's fun because you see so many young players that you haven't seen. They're playing their ass off. And then you see guys that, where you saw them last year and like, he wasn't that good. And you see the development. You see the work they put in, the grind, and you're like, whoa. this guy really got better this year. It is nice to see. I can't wait for OTAs and training camp just to see like certain players that really stepped up. Like, because this year, I remember going to training camp, and you guys know Brandon Aiyuk, man. He came into training camp, and it was like, who the hell? That's Brett. What the? He looked like a different man. I mean, you guys saw it this year. I mean, he was jacked. He was swole. He was looking faster than anybody. He was out there throwing hands with Fred Warner. He was beefing with Jimmy Ward. He was out there causing a ruckus, man. And I was like, whoo, Brandon Aiyuk, he stepped up. He wasn't timid anymore. He was alpha dog, wide receiver one. And I was like, listen, let's go, Brandon. That's why I love the offseason, and that's why I love to see training camp and stuff, because you see the guys, all their work. You see the videos they post, all the work they do, and then you come in training camp, you're like, whoa, he really did grind. It really did pay off. So it's going to be fun. Mariah, she really is the GOAT of YouTube. SG says, how do you think the 49ers will turn their season around? It's like we're talking about. They just got to make sure that they sign the right guys, bring back the key players they need to bring back, solidify that coaching staff. I think they have players that they need. The core guys, you have Kittle and Aiyuk and, all those guys. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Christian McCaffrey, like Trent Williams, Debo. You have your core. Robbie Gould. You got your core. Now you need to plug those holes in. Talanoa Hufanga. Solidify your coaching staff, which they're going to do this week, and then go from there. And then you got to hope and pray that your quarterbacks are healthy. To me, the thing that we haven't talked about left tonight, because we talk about it all the time. I try to kind of avoid this talk, but quarterback. They got to make sure that the quarterback situation is fluid and solid. Obviously, we're all praying for Brock Purdy. He's got what's today, the 14th? So 6, 7, 8 more days until his surgery. And after that, we just better pray that he heals up and everything goes well. And then Trey Lance, he's going to be fully cleared here in a couple weeks. Better hope that he's ready to roll and he's, healthy and he doesn't get hurt. So you need those two guys healthy. Then they got to figure out who the hell is going to be their third quarterback, the veteran quarterback, because that is the mystery. We know Brock is going to be great when he's healthy. We know Trey Lance is going to get an opportunity to go out there and prove himself. But we don't know who the third quarterback is going to be. And Kyle and Lynch said they're going to bring in a mid-tier veteran for these guys to be the backup because they're going to need to. We saw what happened this year. They went through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Who's going to be that third quarterback? That is going to be the question. That is going to be the question. That is going to be the question. And I don't know. There's a lot of players on the market. This is a quarterback crazy market. The quarterback this year is crazy because you got the big names. Derek Carr was just, cut from the Raiders today. He's a free agent. Jimmy's going to go somewhere. You got a lot. You got Lamar Jackson rumors. You got Aaron Rodgers rumors. He's going to go on his dark retreat, right? Who the heck is going to go where? All these teams need a quarterback. The Saints need a quarterback. The Panthers need a quarterback. Houston, the Jets, Dolphins might need a quarterback if they, with the whole Tua situation. The Raiders, the Buccaneers. It's crazy. Who's going to be left for the 49ers? Who is going to be left for the 49ers at quarterback? I couldn't tell you. Marcus Mariota's a sad Niner fan. I guess, yeah, I wouldn't hate it to be a third quarterback. Wouldn't hate it. Jacoby Brissett, Teddy Bridgewater, those are guys. Those are going to be the guys that we're going to be looking at. It's going to be interesting. Gondolas says, is there any good free agent right tackles? Yeah, Orlando Brown's probably the best one on the market, and he's going to be expensive after that Super Bowl. Shutting down Hassan Reddick after what he did in those last couple weeks, Orlando Brown's your top guy. Michael Lynch is probably top 3 right tackle right now in this market. But number 1, Orlando Brown. Tommy says, Wilkes is going to make the secondary elite. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm excited for Wilkes at defensive coordinator. He's a defensive guy. I think he's going to really make this secondary elite as well. I think so. But I think someone commented, Pocket says, you have to have the funds to make an elite secondary. So you're right. They have to make sure they have the money to get those guys. And that's, again, where I said they have to restructure certain contracts. Arik Armstead, I'm looking at you, my boy. I love you, but you got to restructure that deal for this team to bring in some secondary players because there's some guys on the market. And I need the Niners to go bring some of these guys in. And again, Wilkes, he might bring in some people from, who he's coached over the years. Obviously, he has Carolina ties. He has Cleveland ties too, because he was a coach of Cleveland, or defense coordinator for Cleveland for a bit. Greedy Williams. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the name I'm gonna throw out there. Greedy Williams. Steve Wilkes. Greedy Williams. Maybe he'll call him up, use his connection. I would love to have Greedy Williams on the 49ers. If they don't re-sign Emmanuel Mosley and they get me Greedy Williams, I'll feel good. I'll feel vindicated. I'll be happy. If they do not re-sign Emmanuel Mosley, who I want them to be back, I want him to bring back almost more than anybody, but they give me Greedy Williams, I'll be very happy. I'll be happy. I mean, I'll be sad for E-Man, but I'll be happy for the addition of Greedy Williams. But the problem is, Greedy's had some injuries, but so has Emmanuel Mosley. Both of them have had some injuries. They're both immensely talented if they can stay healthy. So bring me Greedy. Go get me. I like him. It's one of my boys. Oh, Nazir Adderley. Now we're talking. Give me those two guys. We're good. I'm hyped. And you got Lenore, who was stepping up this offseason, this preseason, postseason. I can't even talk. Postseason. Deommodore Lenore stepped up towards the tail end of the season, especially in the postseason. Young guy on the rise. You know what you got out of Mooney Ward. You give me a guy like Greedy Williams. You add Nazir Adderley with Talanoa Hufanga. It's a pretty damn good secondary. On paper, though. We'll see. Gloomy says, why wouldn't we sign Mosley back? I think we will, of course. Obviously, I think they're going to try. But again, the reason we wouldn't, and we touched this earlier, is because you got teams like Houston, the Jets, and Miami, who all have coaches that have ties towards Manny, that could persuade him, that could come over the top in money. So the only way I think the Niners don't get Manny Mosley back is if one of those teams come over the top with more money and say, hey, look at all this money we're going to give you, and Mosley wants to go there. But again, the Niners have a better opportunity for Manny here because they're a championship contender, and they could say, hey, look, you stick with us, you give us one more year at least, prove yourself, we'll give you a lot of money, and you got a chance to win a Super Bowl. So I don't think that they're not going to get him. I think the Niners have very favorable odds of keeping Emmanuel Mosley, but there is going to be competition on the market with teams, again, like D'Amico Ryans and the Texans, Robert Saleh and the Jets. That's where I see it coming up. Like, we're going to have to compete with them. But again, I think that we're going to try hard to keep him. Lynch did mention that that's a guy they really want to bring back on this team. So, said, I've been eating good lately. Been trying to. My man 49ers Media says, hope all is well. Everything's great. I hope you're doing good too, Media. Happy off season to you. I've been eating good. I have been eating good lately. Gotta eat good, man. Enjoy that food out there. Let's see. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Let's see what we got. I think we hit pretty much every major issue here. Oh man, let's see. Basher SG Sports Talk says Basher was funny when he sang "Cry Eagles Cry." That was pretty funny. I was cracking up, man. Nia says, "Is Smitty still mad?" I think he's good. I don't know. He got mad at me yesterday because context matters. You know, at the end of my show yesterday, I said, I bet Smitty's going to dodge me. I don't know if he's going to come on my show. I don't know. He feels like he's going to dodge me because, you know, he blew up about the holding call. He was getting upset in the text messages. So then on his YouTube channel yesterday, I was commenting, cry, Smitty, cry. And he was upset. He told me he was like, call on. And one of his listeners, I guess he saw me on my Instagram. He's like, oh, Raj was gassing. But he didn't have the context. I feel like it was like a game of telephone. Like he heard and he saw one thing, but he told Smitty a whole different thing. And you know, Smitty, he gets so mad. He's kind of, he's easy to kind of blow a fuse. And he was all pissy at me because his caller was like gassing him. And I was like, oh, God. So I knew I was already going into a hostile environment. So I called in, went on the show, and everybody's all pissed off because his follower, his listener, kind of gassed everybody up and pissed everybody off. And I'm sitting there arguing with Smitty, who's like still going on like it wasn't a hold. And I was like, look, it was a hold. The player admitted it. I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, he said, like, the Niners were right. And then he's like, oh, you guys are just still salty. Why are the Niners acting like it was a win? I was like, that's not it. The Niner players were basically asked all week, and then today you got the Eagles players sitting here talking because Juju with the troll of the century. Yo, shout out to Juju Smith because he came out with the funniest Valentine's. I was laughing. I was like, damn, Juju from the top rope. That was hilarious. And then you got hurt feelings from A.J. Brown telling him he was TikTok boy. And it's just all escalated. And it's funny because everybody was hating on the Niners. And now the Eagles fans are all piling up. They're all piling up on Juju. Honestly, I'm on Juju's side. He said nothing wrong today. He said nothing wrong. He says, look, you held me. It was a funny meme. I was like, damn, that was a funny meme. Shout out to Juju. And they were all mad. They were mad because it was Juju. But if the Eagles would have won the game, you knew they would be tweeting something. They'd be tweeting something. They're just mad. And guess what? People get emotional. It's sports. You get mad. You get upset. My boy Peter Parker says, I'm still mad for the game. I'm still mad. I see the comment. Let me see. He goes, look, I still can't get over that game. I was super salty watching the Super Bowl. We're fans watching the game. The players are salty. So I don't know why people are upset. It's just funny. Everybody's reacting. At the end of the day, the Niners, last week, they said, hey, all you got to do is throw on them. And that's what happened. But, Mahomes is a special quarterback. Shout out to Juju, man. I love it. That was my favorite post of the day. When I saw that tweet, I was like, oh, God, this is going to get crazy. I knew it was going to get crazy. I'm on Juju's side, man. And they're just mad because they got trolled by Juju, who probably could make more money on TikTok than he makes on football. It's crazy to me. I love Juju. I love Juju for that. Never stop. Always come with the heat. And I'm glad he didn't delete it. Because I was like, oh, maybe he'll delete it. No, he did not. He stood by his words. Shout out to Juju for posting that today. How was the funniest thing I saw all day today? My man Throwback says, Eagles fans said we whine, but they whine too. That's 100%. At the end of the day, they ain't no better than us. They ain't no better than us. My man 49er Jeff, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Maxim says, I'm so glad the Eagles got screwed over by the refs. They've been talking about the Devonta Smith catch when it wasn't a catch. You know what? I don't even think they got screwed because, I'm still trying to understand why people think it wasn't smart to call that because people say you got to let them play. No, you got to call the penalty in a crucial moment because if they don't call that play and the Chiefs were to lose that game, then we'd be sitting here listening to Chiefs fans, oh, my God, we got screwed by the refs. How did you not call it? And if you watch that play, if you slow it down, he grabbed it twice. Before he breaks, he changes the trajectory of the play, and then he grabs the jersey again. And Bradbury himself said, hey, look, I grabbed the jersey. I tugged on it, thought it was going to go away. When the player admits to it, there's nothing to argue about it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what? At the end of the day, Niners didn't win Super Bowl, but neither did the Eagles. Great stuff. 49ers Jeff says, cry, Eagles, cry. What did Patrick Mahomes saw their tweets? He said, that man bored. Yeah, I saw that. And then I think A.J. Brown tweeted over him. He quote tweeted him. I deleted it. I was like, dang, man, this when Patrick Mahomes gets in it, when Patrick Mahomes tweets at you, done. He's done. You're done. And A.J. Brown knew it. He knew it. It's funny, man. Yeah, and that hanging the Super Bowl banner week 1, that was a fun, people were talking. The Niners get the last laugh. And you know what? Again, as we talked about earlier in this show, the Eagles now have lost their defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, and they got a lot of key free agents. Let's not be honest. Let's keep it a buck here. The Eagles are going to lose a lot of players. They've already lost 2 coaches. It's not going to be easy for them to run it back. Let's just say Super Bowl hangover is loading. The Super Bowl hangover is loading. Juju on the beat. My man, hey, Peter Parker says, I know it's the offseason, but you've been keeping us sane. Been MIA lately, but shout out for all you do. Yeah, no doubt. And I know people are going to be MIA at times. In the offseason, people do a lot of stuff. You go on vacation, you do what you got to do. You got to keep your mind right. But I'm always going to be here. live content. When I'm available, I do my thing, man. And that's what we do. We keep everybody sane. We get to vent. We get to voice our frustrations. And we get to have our therapy sessions here. So no doubt, appreciate you, Peter Parker. That's what we do, man. We talk about the Niners all day, every day. That's what we do, man. And Mondays, don't forget Mondays, man. We're live with Larry Krueger. Can't wait for my next show with him. That is fun, man. We've had 2 shows so far. So Mondays at between 1 and 1:30, we do our show now, and it's just we talk about everything over the week. We kind of review everything. We talk about all the big greatest news. This week we did a review of the Super Bowl, and things the 49ers need to do to be able to compete with the Chiefs. So it's been fun. Peter Parker said you're waiting for Trey's workout videos to drop soon. I'm waiting. I can't wait. It's going to be good stuff. Media disappeared. He probably went to bed. Maxim says, I don't know if you remember, but when the NFL released the schedule for 2022 season, they rated the whole NFC East as the easiest schedule. I don't disagree with that. I mean, the schedule, again, I don't, one thing is, like, I know people say, oh, you got an easy schedule, like the Eagles and stuff. At the end of the day, they don't make the schedule, they play it, so you can't really fault them for playing those games. But when you really look at it, yeah, they did have a soft schedule. But again, they don't make those schedules. But it is true. They did have an easy route to get to where they were. And again, those last couple of weeks, I mean, they played Danny Dimes twice, and then they played Christian McCaffrey at quarterback, if you really want to think about it that way. So, yeah, it's past media's bedtime. Will I be on Mariah's show tomorrow? I definitely will be. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be fun. Going to be a good time. So it's always fun to come on other people's shows, and we'll see what they throw at me. Yeah, it's going to be good times. We'll be there tomorrow, 4:45 p.m. Pacific, 7:45 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live. So, all right, let's do 2 more questions, and we'll hop out of here. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, all that good stuff. Fire Sirianni? I don't think so. He did a good job, but he's cocky. I'm glad he lost. I got to give credit to Jalen Hurts, man. That guy played his ass off. He balled. Like, I got no disrespect for Jalen. He was great. Did you guys see when Sirianni, when he was flipping out the refs and he was all mad, Jalen looked at, he's like, chill, bro. Like, just chill. That's a classy move from Jalen. His coach getting them all riled up, getting all pissy. Coach kind of jinxed the team. And I was like, yo, you got to chill, Sirianni. And Jalen was like, just stop that. We don't need that. He knew it. He knew it at the moment. He was like, don't make us look bad. Sirianni, man, little too aggressive, little cocky. Yeah, Hurts is more grown up than his head coach Sirianni. That's crazy. I have any player interviews coming up? Yeah, I'm supposed to have. I'm trying to get Spencer Burford on. I got Jason Poe and Tabor Pepper. Those are the 3 I'm working on. Just so busy lately with work, so we're trying to get those ones, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, we get them up soon. Those are the next 3 I got cooking up, so it'll be interesting. Hold or no hold? Are we just going to have to ignore that Hurts fumbled the ball and it resulted in a touchdown? Yeah, to me, Maurice, that was the biggest, that was the X factor. Hurts played a fantastic game, an MVP-like performance. I mean, amazing performance, but the fumble was the difference in the game. So 100%, yeah, you got to bring that up, the fumble. And again, the Eagles defense, they couldn't stop the Chiefs, man. He couldn't stop the Chiefs. But hey, shout out to Hurts, man. He played a good game. The Eagles QB sneak is cheesy. Yo, that Eagles QB sneak was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, because they got the whole O-line. They just like push. Niners need to do that, man. They gotta do it. Just take your whole O-line and just like shovel the guy over the line. I liked it. It was cheesy, but it worked. I like it. If you can't stop it, I'm not gonna hate on it. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys. That's it for tonight. You guys have a good one, man. I hope you guys had a good day. Good Valentine's Day, all that good stuff. We'll get back to posting a lot tomorrow. Today was busy. Wasn't no news today. Some days you just got to chill. Wasn't too much to talk about, but I wanted to come on, get your thoughts on the off season. So that's why we posted that today on Instagram and Twitter. But real quick, I'll take about 10 more minutes. You guys tell me your plan, because I did post this today. I want to get your guys' plan. I've sat here talked for an hour. What are your guys' thoughts? What do we need to do? If we had to get one position, one player, just drop some comments. Let me go over it. I'll read some comments here. Let's see what you guys think. What are your thoughts on the offseason? Like, if you were the GM, if you're John Lynch, what do we do? What do we do? What do the 49ers need to do? Brady feel threatened. He ain't coming back. You never know. He ain't coming back, though. My man Peter Park says, beef up the D line. I agree. Throwback says, beef up the O line. SG Sports Talk says, beef up the O line. We need a DT. I agree. Beef up the O line. I think most people are saying. Joe Staley comes back for the Niners to coach. Oh, that would be dope. Bring back E-Man and Aziz. I'm pretty sure we're bringing back E-Man, but I'm pretty sure Aziz is on the flight to Houston as we speak. I can't see that happen. I would love it. Sacktown Izzy says, start Lance, play Gray is the only plan. Let's go. Trade a Gray, 2023. Let's get it. I want to see that too. I want to see what they can do. We didn't even get to see anything from Danny Gray. Get another center, says Sports Talk. Do you not like Jake Brendel? I like him. But go get me a quality, premium, elite center. Maybe. I like Jake Brendel. 49ers throwback says the O-line, just like the Chiefs, allowed 0 sacks in the Super Bowl. O-line, man. We gotta make sure that O-line is elite, because you're right. The Chiefs, 0 sacks allowed. They played phenomenal. And they took down the Eagles, who everybody was like, oh, they got 70 sacks this year. They had nothing against the Chiefs. SG Sports Channel says, get another quarterback. We need another quarterback. We need about 8 quarterbacks. I hope the 49ers go into the season with about 6 quarterbacks on this roster. 3 on the practice squad, 3 on the active roster. No joke. You just never know. Go get me quarterbacks. You can go sign Nate Sudfeld. You can go sign Sam Darnold. You can go sign Jacoby Brissett. Sign them. Keep them on the roster. Just keep them somehow. Address the O-line, says 49er Jeff. Yeah, man, that to me, I think the consensus, what everybody's saying, is fix that O-line, because that O-line, man, if it's not deep enough, if it's not stout enough, when the playoffs come, that's when you falter. Look at these teams, the Chiefs and the Eagles. They probably had the best 2 O-lines in the league, and they were in the Super Bowl. Those 2 O-lines were unbelievable. The Bengals were a great team this year, but that O-line, they couldn't block to save their life, and that was the downfall of the Bengals, right? The 49ers, their O-line kind of collapsed on them, and that was kind of their downfall, the injuries and everything. So, 100%, they got to fix that O-line. Address the secondary. They need some depth. I think they have a good young team, but at safety is definitely an area where they have no depth. So, yeah, I agree. What's CMC contract looking like? He's got 2 more years, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have to fix the numbers, because he came in from Carolina and they took over that contract. So I'm guessing they're going to kind of restructure the CMC contract, but he's got 2 more years so far. And Jason says, get Carr on a 1-year deal for the boys. Do you guys want Derek Carr? He got released today. Derek Carr to the Niners? No, I don't know, because he wouldn't be a backup. He would have to be starter. Derek Carr is not coming to any team to be a backup. He's not taking a 1-year deal, and he's definitely going to try to chase the bag. He gave up a $40 million guaranteed contract so he can go test the market. Niners can't afford this guy. I like Carr. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's good, but I don't think the Niners need Derek Carr. I don't think so. I like the guy. He's a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's actually a really good dude, but he's not a really good quarterback. He's okay. 49ers throwback says he's overrated. I'd agree. I don't think he's like great. He's good though. He's good. He's a good starter, but he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. But not horrible. I don't know if he's, I like Brock. I like what he has. And you don't know what you have out of Trey. I mean, is Derek Carr better than Trey Lance? Would you say that? Yeah, right now he is. Trey Lance hasn't shown us anything. But can Trey be better? Possibly, if he lives up to his potential. But the key with having Trey Lance and Brock Purdy is they're both on rookie contracts. Derek Carr is going to want a lot of money, and he's going to want to be a starter. And then that's going to create some tension. So we'll see. Maxim says Carr is literally Kirk Cousins 2.0. And for Shanahan, that might be a good thing because he loves Kirk Cousins. So honestly, I wouldn't put Derek Carr out of the 49ers vantage point just yet. I don't think it's going to happen. But I could see Kyle maybe thinking about it because he does play a lot similar to Cousins. Kyle loves Cousins. So we'll see. We shall see. A goaded. He says, we keep talking about quarterbacks like we aren't going to re-sign Jimmy. I don't think they are. I don't think they're going to get Jimmy back this season. I know there's a lot of people that actually think that maybe he stays because he doesn't get the contract that everybody thinks he's going to get. I've seen that thrown around. I think Kyle's done. I think he's done with them. He's over the guy. He's done. Peace out, sayonara. And I think somebody will offer him a contract. Some team will. Some team will. But hey, you never know. You never know. I see some people saying get another running back. Yeah, I think they need it. I think they'll get another guy, but they'll draft one. I don't think they'll waste money. They do have TDP, and that's a guy that hopefully can emerge. But right now, that third round running back has not been good for Kyle. We saw last year Trey Sermon, and then now with TDP, maybe they'll get another running back in the draft. I feel Kyle does a really good job of getting those undrafted guys. They got Jordan Mason. I really like him. I think he'll be able to take a step up this year. I like Mitchell, but he's had some health issues. CMC, we know he's a dog, but we don't want to overwork him. So I agree. Go get a running back, but I don't think they'll go and spend a lot on a free agent. I expect them to get a running back in the draft. And with Kyle, he knows how to get late round picks, so I'm not too worried about running back. That's a position I never worry about with this team, is they can always figure it out. But they spent the premium money on CMC, so I do not see them taking another premium running back in this market. There's some really good running backs in this market. I think Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Pollard, they're all free agents this year. I don't think the Niners go after any of them. It would be crazy if they did, but they got other priorities. Nick Bosa, again. Nick John Bosa is the major priority. Go get that man all the money he wants. We'll see what happens. But let's see. 49er Jeff says, get a young tight end to develop behind Kittle. I think they're going to get another tight end this year. You got to continue to develop these guys. A guy that can block and catch. Kittle's the man, but he's getting older. He's breaking down every year he plays. I think he's got another 2-3 years left in him. He's so good, but he plays at such a high frenetic level that you got to get a guy to help him out, and he can mentor. They got some guys, but it's like Warner's so good at blocking, but he can't catch. And you got like Tyler Kroft, who's mid at everything. And you got Ross Dwelly, who he's so inconsistent. I agree. Go get me another quality tight end. So we'll see. SG Sports Talk says, what's one word that you would use to describe CMC? Man, that's a good one. One word, playmaker. He's just a playmaker, man. That guy, you put the ball in his hands and something special is going to happen. That boy's a beast. Actually, Jason, they're not. You go read that post again. I don't want to tell their story. It's unfortunate news. Go read that post again because that's actually not the news. You probably saw a picture and got excited, but it's actually bad news. So prayers up to the Kittles. I don't want to share their news. That's for them. It's not what I'm here for. I just want to offer my prayers to them. But yeah, with that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and have a good rest of your week. Off season, we'll keep grinding, and I appreciate you guys. And yeah, hit that like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, let's go Niners, and have a good one. Bang bang, Niner gang.